Welcome back to CSEC English Made Easy. Today we are at lesson 9. One more lesson to go, guys. So today we're looking at the oral presentation. And if you remember from lesson 1 all the way at the beginning of the series, I spoke about the fact that the SBA is a written portfolio along with the oral presentation. Now, it must be noted that the oral presentation is marked out of 10. So when you think about it, the oral presentation is a significant amount of marks, and so you have to be prepared. So let's dive into what exactly is the oral presentation. Now, students tend to struggle when they hear that they have to do an oral presentation, not because of the fact that they might be nervous to speak in front of the class to present. That's one of the reasons. But students tend to be worried, or from my experience, because they don't know what to do. Now, the syllabus says that the oral presentation is your contribution to your theme or your subtopic. So simply put, having gone through the SBA process, you would have interfaced with the information, you would have done your reflection, you would have had thoughts on your topic, your theme. And so in your presentation, you are going to either write your presentation in the form of a poem, a drama piece, or a prose piece. When we say prose, it can be a speech in the form of a speech. It could be extended writing, right? And so you are communicating your thoughts, your feelings, what you would have learned, what you would have experienced, your response to your theme or your individual topic, right? Now, this response is going to be, as indicated by the different genres that's recommended, it's going to be creative. Now, I've heard over the years students asking, can we sing something? Can we rap something? Although you're going to be creative, remember that however you choose to present your piece, it should be guided by the rubric, and we're going to go through the rubric. Now, finally, your presentation should be between 3 to 5 minutes. If you have written your presentation and your presentation is 1 minute, it therefore means that the examiner, your teachers, it could be a panel of teachers or 1 or 2, depending on how your teacher decides to grade this component of the exam. You need to ensure that you are presenting significant information that your teacher can assign marks for, right? So take into consideration the time limit. Now, when we look at the rubric, and the rubric is taken from the CSEC syllabus, you realize that you're being graded based on 3 categories. First, your delivery, and it is marked out of 3, and so your delivery needs to be very clear, very smooth, very well paced. Your audience should be able to follow what you're saying. When it comes to your posture, your body language, that as well needs to be in a form that communicates the message the information that you're presenting. So it should not be distracted to the audience, right? Now, 2, speaks to how you structure your presentation, how your audience is able to understand what you are presenting, how you develop the ideas that you're presenting on. And this is marked out of 4. Now, I love to take you to 4 because when we look at 4, this is what we're aiming for, right? Not saying these are not important, but when we look at 4, we notice that there should be clear organization of your ideas. So if your topic is the effect of coronavirus and you are presenting, your oral presentation is on that, you need to sit and decide based on what you would have covered in your SBA, what are the thoughts, what are the ideas, what are the things that you want to present to your audience as your response, your thoughts, your feelings, what you would have learned based on your topic, right? How then do you present these ideas in a way that it is clear, the audience is following what you're saying? You're being creative, but it also should be very logical. It's not all about fun and games, right? Do you sustain the treatment of your topic? Do you, in your presentation, is it linked to the topic or your when I say topic, your individual topic, the theme that you're covering? Can your audience, having listened to your presentation, make the connection to what you're presenting and what you would have covered? So there needs to be a link, right? Is the style, and when we talk, and I'm saying style, how you choose to present your information, is it effective? Because if there's a difference in presenting using a speech versus the poem, and you have to now decide which genre would be the most effective in presenting what I have to say based on my topic. So you have to take that into consideration. Finally, how impactful is your communication? The points that you are presenting, how impactful is that to the audience? How impactful is that in allowing the audience to understand your topic, right? Finally, language and vocabulary. And this is marked out of 3. When we look at language, and we're looking here, you need to take into consideration grammar, the effective use of grammar, vocabulary that you use, the fluency in which you speak, how well you're able to present your words. Is your vocabulary rich? You're using words that will draw the audience, that will create a picture in the audience's mind, enable the audience to relate to what you're presenting on. Now, grammar is very important because it therefore means that based on the fact that you're being marked for language, I would recommend that your presentation is primarily done in standard English. That does not mean that you cannot use instances of Creole. Well, I'm in Jamaica, as you all know, and our native language, Jamaican Creole, aka Patois, and once again, depending on your locality where you're located, your native language might be different, right? And so you have to bear in mind that yes, you can incorporate some aspects of the native language, but that is not the primary language that you're going to use for your presentation, because you are being marked for grammar, vocabulary, all of these things. And I'm not saying that, let me just say, I'm not saying that your native language is less than English. That's not what I'm saying. But remember, well, I don't know about any of the other countries, but I know in Jamaica, for our native language, there is, to my knowledge, there is no standard accepted way to write the language, to identify what is grammatically correct in the language, in Jamaican Creole. So that will be a little harder for the examiner. And when I say examiner, I'm talking about your teacher who will be grading the piece at the school level. Now, something to bear in mind, I generally make copies of the rubric. So if I have 30 students, I make 35 copies, and the name of the student is there, the examiner, the date, the time, all of that. And I tick off and make my comments on the sheet. So I normally use the rubric as my guide when I'm marking. And so each student will have a copy. So something to bear in mind. Now, for the document, and once again, please make reference to lesson 1. For your SBA portfolio, the written component, you need to include in that your oral presentation plan. So your oral presentation will not be included in the portfolio because that, as I said, it's a physical presentation, right? But you must have a blueprint, a small, it's very simplistic blueprint